Now to the first criminal trial of a former U.S. president and a shift of tone in Donald Trump's hush money case. After 2 weeks of tabloids, sex scandals, and secret recordings, the third week of testimony, focusing largely on tax documents. We're talking about invoices, ledgers, and prosecutors are trying to show jurors basically that there was a paper trail leading to Trump.
And that testimony comes after Judge Juan Merchan warned the former president about possible jail time if he keeps violating the judge's gag order in this case. Judge Merchan found Trump in contempt of court for the 10th time and fined him another $1,000, this time for talking about the jury in an interview, saying it was 95% Democrat because that's what the jury pool would be. And the judge found that in contempt of his gag order to not talk about the jury.
So investigative reporter Olivia Rubin has been outside the courthouse. She joins us now along with legal contributor and University of Baltimore law professor Kim Whaley. So, Olivia, prosecutors called up the longtime Trump Organization employee Deborah Tarasoff as the next witness. What are we hearing from her so far?
What prosecutors are doing this afternoon essentially is continuing down that chain of command for those who worked in the financial department of the Trump Organization, because these are the individuals that quite literally got the invoices, entered them into the system, and cut the checks that Donald Trump would ultimately sign. Or in other words, all of the records that prosecutors now say constitute the 34 false business records counts that Donald Trump is facing. So what Tarasoff specifically did was receive the already approved invoices and enter them in, and then she personally cut those checks. So she was directly involved in those records. But of course, there is no indication or any sense of prosecutors here that they're trying to say she did anything wrong. But on the contrary, she said she just did what she was told in cutting these records, that there were those above her that were, calling the shots here and knew more about the substance of what was happening. But she made the physical entries. So what we can expect, I think, from Donald Trump's team is that they are going to do with Tarasoff what they just did with McConney beforehand, saying you entered this information, you cut these checks, you approved these invoices. Did you ever talk to Donald Trump? Did Donald Trump ever talk to you about that? And their answer is likely going to be no, though prosecutors don't need them to say yes.
All right, so Kim, as Olivia just reports, during opening statements and now during cross-examination, the defense is arguing that this witness just following orders when she labeled invoices as legal expenses. How does that help Trump?
Well, it helps Trump because the primary defense is that he doesn't have the criminal intent to defraud the voters ultimately, and also to commit fraudulent crimes regarding the documentation of these transactions. And without that showing of actual knowledge and intent by Donald Trump specifically, there's no crime. There might be a mess in the records, there might be problems with the records, but if it's not linked to his knowledge and intent, then the prosecution cannot carry this across the finish line in terms of a criminal case.
So, Olivia, we saw the judge this morning warning Trump once again, if he doesn't stop violating the gag order, he's going to put him in cuffs. I mean, what would that even look like logistically if Trump was sent to jail?
It was a remarkable moment when the judge looked directly at Trump and said, I don't want to have to put you in jail, and sort of underscoring the gravity of that statement, saying you are a former president of the United States and the possible future president. So the question is, what exactly would that look like? Now, ABC News has reported that Secret Service has previously been involved in conversations surrounding what some sort of potential incarceration for Donald Trump would look like here. So it's not clear because it has never been seen before. The idea of it hasn't ever really been thought of before. So it will sort of be across that bridge when you get there type of scenario. But I will say so far, Donald Trump seems to, in those few hours, be resisting that urge. There was a little bit of bait thrown at him when he was coming back into the courtroom after a break, where someone in the hallway yelled at him, what do you think of the jury? Which, of course, is off limits for Donald Trump to talk about. And he did not talk about it. So it will sort of remains to see if he can follow along that path and resist that urge that he clearly has.
Gag order. All right. Olivia and Kim, thanks very much.